we're not going to try to guess what people want. We're just going to cook what we like to cook, what we like to eat, and that's been a lot more successful.
Better get ready, because here comes another great episode of the No Dishes Podcast. Season 6 is brought to you by Visit Bloomington. Check them out at visitbloomington.com. Play that theme song.
Hey, say, honey, let's go out to eat. Relieve our culinary duties. With all these restaurants to sweep us off our feet, they're bound to turn us into foodies. No dishes, no dishes, no dishes. We'll have a bottle of wine, relax and have a good time. No dishes, no dishes.
Welcome to another episode of the No Dishes Podcast. I'm very excited today. One of my favorite restaurants in town since they opened a couple of years ago, we'll dive into exactly how long, has been The Elm. We've had Leah on before, who was their beverage director, but that was before we added video, and have kind of gotten to where we are now. So I wanted to talk to the man behind the food, what's most important in any restaurant, and that's executive chef Dan Thomas. What's up, Dan? How we doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Doing very well. I appreciate you taking the time to be here.
Absolutely.
I think we've only met maybe once in passing.
Yeah, I think so.
I was like thinking about, who do I need to have on here? And again, we're a food podcast and we branch out, but I'm like, what is the food that I enjoy the most? And like Elm's up there. So I was like, I need to talk to Dan, man, you know? Well, you were in the Chef's Challenge last year that the community kitchen puts on. Super cool event. We've had Eric Bueno on. I need to get Corbin on. Yeah. But you were against some other really, really good chefs. I think Eric's won it twice. But you won. That was your first time competing in it.
Yeah,
and you won first time.
Our first go around. Yeah.
So it's all downhill from here, right?
Yeah.
Or at least plateau. You're like, all we can do is the same.
Yeah, we got to do it again next year and defend the title.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess while we're already on it, so let's talk about that a little bit, because they do a secret ingredient, which you don't know about ahead of time. And it ended up being carrots. Yeah. What's your process like going into that? Like, it's an Iron Chef. For those that don't know, it's like an Iron Chef style thing. And it's at the Buskirk in front of all these people. It's just you and your sous. So there's you, Eric Bueno from Feast, his sous chef, Corbin Morwick from One World Catering, his sous chef, and then you and your sous. Yeah. And I think it's like 15 minutes and then 15 minutes. It's kind of a staggered start. Right. And you started last and then finished last. But how do you game plan to go into something when you don't even know what that main ingredient's going to be? Yeah.
It's really hard, because if you make a guess about what the secret ingredient is and you have a plan, it's probably going to fail.
So you need to not plan too much, is what you're saying.
That our plan was no plan.
But hey, it worked out.
Yeah.
So you were just like, we're just going to wing it?
Yeah. We heard, I think you hear like, I don't know, a few minutes before you go out there. Okay. You have like 5 minutes or so.
That's right. They do bring you out, reveal it, I think. Yeah. Okay.
And so you have a few minutes on, before you go on. And so we just put our heads together and we're like, all right, we're doing this. And I mean, luckily, Michael and I have worked together for a lot of years in a lot of different places. So we kind of speak the same language, and I can explain something to him. He knows exactly what I mean. And, it's all gravy from there.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I mean, you're in a time crunch. So that's so important that you're not wasting time explaining your vision. Yeah. That you can just be on that same page and it's like, okay, boom, we're off to the races. Yeah. Do you remember your 3 courses? Put you on the spot.
Yeah, I think, our first course was a carrot tartare. And then...
Real quick on that, I remember, because this is going to refresh my memory as you go through it. I remember seeing that. I was like, oh, this is cool, but like, there can't be that much depth of flavor to carrot tartare, but there was. Yeah. What was that preparation? How did you achieve that depth of flavor in a carrot tartare, Well,
we're allowed to bring ingredients that we like either make or whatever ingredient we want, just as long as we share it with everyone.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had fermented some ramps earlier that year. I did that. I can't remember what else I put in it. Yeah. But we just
whatever it was, it worked.
Yeah. So
did you go that route because you're like, oh, this will really ramp up the flavor?
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't help it. All right, course 2. Do you remember?
Course 2. I think we did a chicken dish.
I remember the chicken because wasn't it like poached? Or no? Is that the correct term?
Yeah. I think we did 2 preparations. We poached the breasts and then we seared the legs. So we had French legs and everything. And then I think we did some sort of carrot salad with that. And then juiced it and made a carrot glaze.
Just carrot on carrot on carrot.
Yeah.
That's so difficult to make that work. There we see we've got the that video summary. Yeah, you had on that like little bed of a salad.
Yeah.
Do you remember that real quick before I give more of my thoughts? Remember what your third course was?
It was, we did like a carrot cloud thing, I think. It was like a foam with coconut milk.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. It was like a micro foam.
Yeah.
So my biggest takeaway from all of your dishes, because Corbin did an amazing job, Eric did an amazing job, and then yours was last. And I'm up there with Stacy Sidori, who runs the Ivy Tech Culinary Program, Angelo Pizzo, who's been on, who wrote Hoosiers and Rudy, and then the gentleman that owned the farm that grew the carrots.
Right, yeah.
And it was very interesting because we didn't talk like while we're scoring, but you're just kind of eyeballing, seeing where other people are at, if they're making facial
expressions.
You know exactly, like trying to kind of read like where they're at. Because you're sitting there like, oh damn, like this is this is good. You're like, is everybody else feeling the same way too? But everything you had was so the biggest separator, and I don't know how it was for everyone else, but for me, why you ended up winning was like everything just finished so clean.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't everything had a ton of flavors going on, but nothing lingered.
Right.
And I really enjoyed that because I don't know if that was intentional, but I'm sure it had to be. How do you even achieve that? Like, is that something you set out for?
Sometimes we do that. I don't know how intentional it was.
Sometimes it just works out.
Yeah, sometimes it works out. And we try to make things like flavorful but light. Like we do that in the restaurant as well. Just like flavor wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, congrats, because it was a really cool thing to be a part of. I'm really hoping to somehow be involved next year. Obviously you're going to be invited back. You're the reigning champ,
right?
You got to defend your title.
Yeah.
But it would be cool because I was talking to one of the organizers. I don't know if I can give away any of this, but anyway, I think it would be cool if there was a way that they could do even more chefs and like really could just get more involvement because there's so many talented chefs in town.
Yeah.
Did you work at any restaurants in town before, Elm?
In Bloomington, I've worked in a few places. So right before the Elm, I was working at Story Inn.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In Story, Indiana.
Yeah.
So I was the exec chef there.
Nice. I've still yet to eat there. We did an event out there. It was like some wine thing outdoors. We went and sold ice cream.
Yeah.
I know Aaron, who runs the bar out there. My buddy Travers, I know will play music out there quite a bit.
Aaron Harding. Yeah.
Yeah. But I just I've yet to. I mean, it's kind of out of the way. And there's so many good places in town, but every time I see the menu and I'm like, oh, this is right up my alley.
Yeah.
So how did you go from Story Inn to Elm?
The Story Inn was interesting, because, I was working at IU at the time and someone had told me about this job. And I had not had an executive chef job yet. So I was like, okay, I'll try this. You know?
Yeah. Well, you got to get that. You got to take that leap of faith at some point.
Yeah.
And like believe in your own abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did that, got the job. It's a really cool place. There are 3 gardens on the property. So anytime you need an ingredient, you just go outside and get it.
That's so dope. That's so cool though.
Yeah. So when I had started, it was before COVID. So we had an a la carte menu. And then once COVID hit, like it was just to go. And I was the only one working.
Right. Yeah. I feel like a lot of places were doing that.
Yeah. So it's just me doing carry out, burgers, like wings, fries.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, whatever people are. Yeah. Not too many people are getting a filet to go. So
right,
you're like, we got to cater more for a carry out menu.
Yeah. We were doing some steak frites and that worked well too, but
great.
You know, but during our reopen, we, kind of put our heads together and, decided to change direction a little bit and do a tasting menu. So we kind of separated it into 2 kitchens where outside there was a grill. We did a barbecue, which I miss a lot and hopefully we'll be doing again soon.
Elm Smokehouse coming soon. Yeah.
But so we did barbecue, burgers, that kind of stuff outside, and then a tasting menu each inside that changed each week. So brand new menu every week, which
that's so insane.
Yeah,
yeah, I love that though.
Ambitious, a lot of work, but rewarding and honestly helped me learn a lot. But yeah, we did that, and that was really cool. And then someone had told me that there was a new restaurant opening in Bloomington, and that I was ready to move on and check it out.
Spread your wings.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll take on a new challenge. I mean, any chef, I mean, I get this way sometimes with Choc and Moose where I'm like, what more can I really accomplish or learn here?
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes eventually you got to move on to something new and grow, you know, and get, gain more experience in ways that maybe you couldn't there, you know?
Yeah. So at that time I had met Eric, who's the general manager of the and I kind of saw we had the same drive, and we're on the same page a lot, and we kind of realize a vision together, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what made me take that leap and go to the Elm.
So I've always wondered, because I've heard about this when I worked at the country club way back when.
Yeah.
I knew they interviewed their new chef, who now he's been there forever. He made them a meal. Did you have to do that at Story Inn or at Elm where they're like, yeah, cook us up something. Let's see what you got.
So they had secretly their team
did some secret shopping.
Yeah. Had come out to Story Inn and eaten a couple times.
And you had no idea.
No, I didn't.
That's so cool.
And but then I did go to the owner's house, David and Martha Moore's.
Yeah. And they also own FAR, the Contemporary Art Gallery?
They do.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. And so cooked for them and so what I did was Seth Elgar.
Yeah.
He was the consultant at the beginning. So I cooked some dishes of his. And then they wanted me to cook a dish of my own. So I believe it was morel season. So I went out and got some morels. And
did you already have like a spot? Like you had a morel spot already?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you didn't have to search very long.
Yeah. And then made a pasta dish with morels. Yeah.
Well, no, don't you guys, you hand make all your pasta there, right? I mean, everything's scratch.
Yeah, we And when we say everything, it's like everything.
Everything. Yeah. I think that was what Cat Williams who's like everything.
Yeah. So we make all our own bread, like down to like the crackers on the charcuterie board. We make that.
Yeah, I feel like that sums it up.
Right.
The crackers on the charcuterie board. Like if you're doing that,
yeah.
Like, okay. All right. You're like, this is a scratch. It's not a cheddar scratch kitchen, you know? No, and I'm sorry to ever compare what Elm does to Cheddar's. This spring, Constellation for Kids presents Alex Gold, Stuck on Repeat, on stage April 26th through May 12th at the Waldron Arts Center. Don't miss this fun-filled classroom adventure where the audience gets to make all the decisions. 11-year-old Alex Gold needs to repeat the 6th grade. Luckily, Alex has surrounded himself with some trusted friends, you, the audience, to help him make the best choices to succeed. Can you guide Alex through this one-of-a-kind classroom comedy? See Alex Gold, Stuck on Repeat, on stage April 26th through May 12th in downtown Bloomington. Find tickets at cconstellation.org. I've had so many good meals there. I did a couple years in a row of Yonkos for like my birthday dinner. I was like, I want to mix it up. I love Yonkos, but got to mix it up.
Yeah.
So we did Elm 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was phenomenal. I mean, the server I was talking to you about before we started recording, the servers there, shout out Ashley too. Ashley's awesome. And I know there's a ton of other amazing ones. I can't remember their names, but I've known Ashley for a while. And she waited on me and my friends when I celebrated a year of not drinking.
Yeah.
And she knew so much about that menu. I've never, as a server, I was telling you, like I could read you off the nightly specials,
yeah,
but I could not tell you like, oh, so we do this and that's what this means, and
yeah,
I'm like, oh, what? Like, and I've been in restaurants forever. I didn't understand half the stuff she was saying,
yeah,
which normally I take as a good sign. How do you guys go about trying to get all your servers to learn all this info and retain it so that all the work you're putting in is conveyed to the guest?
Yeah. So that's one thing we really take seriously, because we want everyone to know, like, not only what are the allergens, what are the ingredients in this, but also like all the work that goes into it, because it's a lot of work, a lot of labor. We have a lot of cooks, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we do trainings every time we switch a menu. So we'll be closed down for the day, and we will make every single menu item for the servers, and they go through and taste everything. I talk them through the process and talk them through the dishes, and they write notes, and then beyond that, we'll also quiz them on it.
I was going to ask, I was like, is there a quiz? Is there a test? Yeah.
Yeah. So
is that just ongoing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So someone comes in to like run an appetizer and you're like, hey, what's in that?
Yep.
Yeah, really? Oh, nice.
Well, yeah, we'll do pre-shift meetings every day, and sometimes I'll throw something at them. And other than that, we'll do like handwritten quizzes and stuff like that. So,
nice.
Yeah. Nothing's
getting past you guys.
Yeah.
I love it. You're like, yeah, like I'm busting my tail.
Yeah.
They got to be doing the same.
Exactly.
That's how big is your crew? What's your back of house crew look like to pull off all that?
Yeah. So we have about 3 like AM prep cooks, and then 2 pastry cooks who work in the morning. And then beyond that, it's myself, Michael Katarabic, who is the chef de cuisine, and then Raf Pierras, who is the sous chef. And then we have 6 cooks on the line beyond that.
Do you all work, because you're only open, Tuesday through Saturday?
That's right.
Or not only, but you know, what I mean. You're open Tuesday through Saturday.
Yep.
Is it the same crew every night?
Yep.
Does that help? That has to help. It's not like, oh, we got so-and-so this night, because you're not filling 7 days a week. You have that consistency.
Yeah. Everybody's pretty much full-time. And everybody, like, I'm very grateful for the crew we have, because everybody's so serious about it. And you can tell the ones who are gonna, like, they'll leave eventually and they're gonna go far because they'll cook all day there and then they'll go home and try something else. Like they'll cook at home.
They're just passionate about, and they don't even see it maybe as a job at the Elm. They see it as a learning experience. Yeah, and a stepping stone.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have insiders. It's not scary, I promise. That comes across like I'm going to hit you with a gotcha. But I've always been told, and it's something I noticed at the Chef's Challenge, that you are very clean and methodical and organized.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I would say so. We have, I give each cook when they start a list of kitchen guidelines. And it's basically like cut your tape, like clean equipment, after you're done using it, sanitize every time after you're done working, all this stuff that help us keep the kitchen organized and clean and safe, Yeah.
Yeah. What do you attribute that to? Is that something you picked up at a past job, or that you just knew when you had your deal, whether at Story Inn or like, hey, when I'm the head honcho, this is how I want things ran?
Yeah. I've never really worked at a place that was like that. So
you kind of learned what not to do at other places?
So, it was just, I do have a little bit of OCD, I think.
I was going to ask, but I feel like it goes along with it.
Yeah. But I mean, and everybody's on board with it. They love it as well.
Is that one of those deals when you have someone start and they're maybe like, oh man, this is so extra. But then after a week, they're like, oh, this is actually legit. Like, this is like, it grows on them once they experience it.
Yeah. That's why, whenever I hire, I'm a little bit hesitant to hire kitchen veterans, because those habits are hard to break.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
you'd rather have someone with no experience.
Yeah.
That you can mold.
Yeah. Basically, we hire the person who has the right attitude. Like, if they have the right attitude, if they want to learn, if they're open, then that's who we want to hire.
I've heard that before. I mean, you can't teach attitude.
Yeah.
If you got the good attitude, you could teach everything else.
Exactly.
But attitude is, you either got it or you don't.
Yeah.
You're already like jaded, or like, this is, I've been doing this for 12 years, you know?
Yeah. And people are hesitant to be like, oh, that's not the way I do it, Yeah. It's like, well,
sorry, that's how it is here. Either deal with it or see it, dude.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things that's so nostalgic for me that you guys do is the sorghum cookies.
Oh yeah.
Those things, because I had molasses cookies growing up.
Yeah.
And the it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, sorghum's like just the Indiana plant. And
exactly.
I remember the first time I'd ever had like a sorghum liquor.
Yeah.
That was back when I was running the front of house at Sweetgrass. Yeah. And like, I remember a rep brought by sorghum liquor. I'm like, ooh, interesting. Like,
yeah.
But those cookies, man, they got, sorry, I'm just going to go on a little thing here. They're soft.
Yeah.
And crunchy.
Yeah.
Like, it's that's what you want. And like, you can achieve it.
Yeah.
When people are like, oh, it's got to be one or the other. It's like, no. You've got that nice crisp outside and the edges, and the middle is just soft. And then it has like the coarse sugar. Am I describing that correctly?
That's right. Yeah.
The thing is, I'm a big food guy, but I'm not knowledgeable at all on how to cook.
Right. Yeah.
Some of the technical. I'm like, coarse sugar? Is that right? Yeah. Cool. Perfect. One of my other favorite, so that's bakery, but one of my favorite dishes was, it was the rabbit that was in this like dome pastry shell.
Oh yeah, that pativier. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Can you please tell the listeners what that dish was so I can copy it and steal it?
Yeah.
Good luck trying.
Yeah. So, we braised whole rabbits.
Do you just go out and catch them?
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Elm Heights too. There's a lot down there.
Yeah. There's a lot of deer. There's a lot of rabbits.
Well, dude, they never do a fillet, but they always have venison. It's weird. Yeah.
But yeah, we braise whole rabbits, and then it's like a mirepoix of vegetables, and mirepoix is like
celery, carrot,
onion.
Oh, yep. God, I was like, I know it's three. Let me. And the funny thing is, I'm like, some people know me for how much I love onion.
Yeah,
of course, that's the one.
Yeah. Right. So those are like brunoise, like perfect inside there, and so we braise those. Pick all the rabbit meat, which is tricky because you don't want to get. They've got small bones, and you don't want any bones in there, or that'll ruin someone's experience.
Absolutely, yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, we put them in there. Make it's basically a pie dough, and then we made a braid to go around it, and then bake those off. Little egg yolk wash on there.
It was so visually appealing.
Yeah, and then. I can't remember what we served that with, but it was like a parsnip puree and red wine jus or something.
That sounds about right. Yeah. How often do you guys change your menu?
We change it about 5 times a year, so about like every 3 months or so.
How do you find the time to develop the new menu while also executing the current one?
It's tricky.
You're like, I don't.
But luckily, I can trust my team and go and like kind of work on this for a little bit, whenever we're short staffed, it's a little bit more tricky because I'll have to be in there prepping or be on the line, but usually I'll just find the time somehow.
Gotta make it happen. Yeah. And then, so obviously you're just basing your menu based off of seasonality, seasonal ingredients, what's available, what's fresh at that time of year.
Yeah. Yeah. What's available, what's fresh, seasonal. Our, I guess, goal, our far reaching goal is to basically define what Indiana cuisine is. And I'd say that sorghum cookie is like a really good example. Cause that's, I grew up in Brown County, in like, over by Gnawbone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
I'm surprised you don't do a tenderloin. Copies there. Yeah.
Actually, my bus driver was the guy who did that famous tenderloin
at the Gnawbone Mart.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah,
like that's so crazy.
Yeah.
So you had great influences from an early age.
Yeah.
Everyone else is in the back of the bus chatting, and you're up there like picking the bus driver's brain on like. So tell me, how do you do it, Bob?
Yeah. But right down the road from where I grew up, there's like a sorghum mill. So like, just like exploring the kind of the past to set the standard for what Indiana cuisine is in the future.
I love that because I feel like it's most people think Indiana, it's like it's all corn, it's all tenderloins, it's all fried. You know what I mean? Like we don't have. I mean, I guess the tenderloin's kind of it, but we don't have that signature like, oh, the Maine has the lobster roll, or New Mexico has a green chili burrito, Indiana cuisine. Some people might laugh if you say Indiana cuisine.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh yeah, like corn dogs and
Yeah.
So how long did it take? So you guys just got recognized by USA Today as one of the top 2024 restaurants, which is a huge accomplishment. Even before that, did you find that there was a time or like a point where you're just like, oh man, we are getting recognized for all this hard work and like it's really being appreciated within the community and beyond?
I don't know about that. I know that getting feedback from individual guests is kind of what keeps me going and keeps me doing what I do. But yeah, I can't really point to a time where I thought that.
Where you're just finally like, okay, like people know what's up, like they know we're killing it. It's just kind of been gradual and we're not gonna rest on our laurels, obviously, and we're still pushing and striving to do better every day. But yeah, there's
I got to be honest, it was like rough at the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like it is any restaurant. No matter how much you plan, and you guys have an all-star crew between Eric and Leah and Eric's wife as well.
Emma, yeah.
Thank you. That even if you have a rock star crew with worlds of experience, it's still gonna be rough opening a restaurant. Yeah,
it was difficult, and we started out and I think we were pretty polarizing. Like people either loved it or hated it,
which I think is kind of good. There's some people that you don't want to like your food because they're just gonna be like $55 for a lobster roll. You know, like maybe you don't want them,
right? So it was. And it was interesting to start out. There was a lot of criticism.
And how did you get that criticism?
Either through reviews, we have Resi, so they send in surveys.
Yeah.
And then, so it was like difficult to deal with at the beginning. 'Cause I think in the beginning I was trying to think of what Bloomington wants. And then I think that backfired a little bit. So we just recently changed our mindset a little bit. And it's like, well, forget like what, we're not going to try to guess what people want. We're just going to cook what we like to cook, what we like to eat. And that's been a lot more successful.
I love that. Yeah, that's... I mean, I feel like it's just good rule of thumb, whether you're making food, whether you're making music, or, writing stand-up jokes, just forget, don't try to cater.
Exactly.
Just do am I going to eat this? Would I listen to this? What do I want? And you just got to trust that there's other people out there that have the same taste.
Yeah.
When, do you just underwent a menu change or are about to?
We, next week are about to go into spring menu.
What are some of the highlights from the spring menu? Oh, can you say it? Well, this won't come out till after it comes out.
Okay.
If that helps. Yeah. I can tell you're hesitant. And it's like, wait, this won't be out till, this will come out day after the eclipse.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to, we started working with a farm out of Louisville, a lamb farm, which I'm going to visit pretty soon. But it's Freedom Run Farms. And so we got a couple lamb dishes on the menu. We have a lamb loin, and then we're using the lamb neck, and we're going to braise that and put it in a tortelloni. So that's going to be pretty fire.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I've never craved lamb neck, but I feel like that might be about to change.
Yeah.
Garrett's got the Freedom Run Farm pulled up here with...
they do Appalachian heritage breed. So, yeah.
Lamb you can love, EWE. Yeah.
You got to love a nice pun.
I know. These are my kind of people. They're all about ramping up flavor down there in Louisville.
That's coming out next week. So we're doing testing this week. So anxiety's at a good level.
How long does it take about a week of a new menu being out for that to kind of subside?
We kind of work out the quirks a little bit. Like we find out what works during service, what doesn't work. And really the guests don't notice it, but we do.
Yeah.
And we just like to always be tightening things and trying to make it as best as we can.
So if you come the first week of a new menu, maybe show a little more grace than another time.
Yeah.
You're not that you want to ever admit something's not perfect.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Do you ever, so twofold question here. What is your favorite dish that you've ever made that you're just like, that was it? That was the bee's knees. And then what's the one that's seemed to be like the big crowd favorite since you've opened?
Yeah. So I don't know if I've ever created a favorite dish.
Really? What's your favorite just to eat, even if you don't make it?
Yeah, I think like really comforting, like chicken and dumplings.
Okay, yeah.
Like, yeah, that's, it's just like in winter, and it's like, you just eat a
you just feel warm. And it's just like a sleeping bag, but for your insides.
Yeah. But yeah, I just like cooking. I just like trying things new every time. I think that helps develop your skills. I don't really like to keep something on the menu, even if it's like people don't want to see it go.
Yeah, that's always tough. I talked to Eric from Feast about that, and that's tough because he likes to be seasonal, and but there's some things that like people just get up in arms if you take it away.
Yeah, and so I think like we open with a chicken sandwich.
I was going to ask about the chicken sandwich. I had to ask because someone told me your goal, maybe not yours, but was like, we're going to have the best chicken sandwich and it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Did you finally take it away?
We did.
Okay. Yeah. And it had a good run though.
Yeah. And we took it away right as we perfected it too.
Oh. Damn.
Because we perfected the crunch and where like the breading wouldn't fall off.
Yeah.
And then we're like, all right, like we're done with that,
Well, you feel like you accomplished your goal, so now there's no reason to keep it on.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. Was that one of those things that you set out to do because it was, again, back to you creating what you thought people wanted?
Yeah, and originally, I think in the opening menu that Seth had created, he had a burger on, and we had a little bit of a delay in opening because there was a flood. And then, so I had a little more time to kind of make the menu my own.
Oh, nice.
And then I was honestly burnt out of doing burgers out at Story.
Oh, there's a Reddit thread on the Elm Chicken Sandwich. Not that we want to push people to go to that. I have no idea what it says, but that's so funny that it has its own Reddit thread.
Yeah.
It's all right. We don't need to pay attention to it. That caught my eye though. Oh, we will say, damn it, that chicken sandwich is magical. Maybe that was when you took it off, I bet.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Again, people are going to be upset. You can't keep.
Surprisingly, we didn't have that much kickback from that. It was crazy.
Well, I feel like you guys set yourself up well, though.
Yeah.
And this is something I've talked with people, with like Nick at Small Favors. Like at Small Favors, I knew that menu was always going to be changing. And that's what I liked. And that's what I appreciated. And that's what I love about Elm is that like I know it's going to be changing. I don't care if something was amazing. That new menu item you have might even be more amazing.
Yeah.
Like I want that constant variety, that constant changing. But I know that's difficult for a lot of restaurants to do. Like you were talking about doing the weekly changes at Story, and that's nuts.
Yeah.
5 menus a year is hard enough as it is.
Right.
But like as a consumer and someone that eats out all the time, that's what I want. I want that just like, they're doing what now? Like, like that just gets me excited to go somewhere.
Yeah, same. Because I'll eat at a place maybe like 3 times and be like, all right, well, what else?
Yeah, no, yes, man. I went somewhere today for lunch where it was good, but I looked at the menu and I'm like, man, I've had all this. Yeah. And it was delicious. But I was just like, man, it'd be really nice if they like mix this up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that honestly, it keeps it exciting for our staff as well, because our back at house staff, they always want to be learning, and that's why they're there. And that
there it is. There's that rabbit dish.
Nice.
Yeah, it was like piped mashed potato or parsnip.
Yeah.
Pureed parsnips.
Yeah.
Yeah. That thing was so beautiful.
Yeah, but we always enjoy like pushing our staff to like learn more and always like be changing. So.
Yeah, keeps them engaged out in. It's like, oh no, I'm making this Cajun chicken pasta for the millionth time, and because I've been here for 2 years. Your guys' kitchen is kind of open.
Yeah, we have large windows.
Yeah, how's that for you?
It's good. I've worked in an open kitchen before, like a real open kitchen before. So like it's not too bad.
Yeah,
so,
when we at Sweetgrass under the original owners, it was a full open kitchen.
Right, yeah.
And it was we had a guy that would run Expo and wear shirts that are a little too small. So every time he's like bending over, you're like waiting for a table, you just see ass cracking. Oh God. So or you have the chefs like cursing like crazy, yelling at each other. It's like, the food's good, everything's fine. Just might hear some things you don't want your children hearing, you know?
Yeah. And even though our kitchen is closed off by windows, like we still don't yell, like we still don't really curse. You know? We're just a pretty chill, calm kitchen.
That's good. That's not the case everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the things that's nice about, again, you're in the position where you get to set the tone. You want that kitchen's going to be ran how you want it to be ran.
Yeah.
And that's got to be empowering.
Yeah.
Better business, better community. For over a century, the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce has been a cornerstone of business growth and community development. They are dedicated to helping local businesses thrive. Their business is all about your business. Join the Chamber today. Call 812-336-6381 or visit chamberbloomington.org to learn more. So let's talk about some of the places where that wasn't the case. So you grew up in Brown County.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through, because we got Story Inn, we got a little bit of IU, but I kind of want that Dan Thomas character arc growing up Brown County, ending up at the Elm.
Yeah. So very first job ever was McDonald's.
There you go. Yeah. Are you going to do a tribute to the Big Mac at some point?
I don't know about that. Maybe.
Just something to think about.
The better Big Mac.
That could be, dude, if Elm, I was joking, but if Elm did a Big Mac, I guarantee you it would be freaking amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Just something to think on.
Yeah. But kind of hated that. And then...
was this teenager?
Yeah. Real young. I think, 16.
Right. Yeah. First job, going to McDonald's. How long did you last?
I was there for a year.
That's pretty good.
So
that's not bad.
Yeah. It was pretty interesting because even then, as a kid, there were people there older than me who seemed irresponsible, and I would like get them in line and be like orders would be coming in. I'm like, hey, come on, like toast those buns.
How much of a wreck does your life have to be for a 16-year-old to be like, hey, buddy, we're here to work?
But I had a friend there, and she was like, my parents have a restaurant. Let's leave this and go work there.
I'm sure that took a lot of convincing.
Yeah. I was like, all right.
Yeah, done.
So I went to this little Italian restaurant where like the family was Italian. And there we did all kinds of stuff. They had their own deli there.
Was this in Brown County? Or okay.
Yep.
But it's not, that restaurant's not there anymore?
It's not there anymore. Like they had their own deli. We made pizza, pasta, salads, desserts, that kind of stuff. So that was a good experience. And that was, as you can imagine, a noisy kitchen.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. You're like, speaking of. So it's part of the experience.
Yeah.
If you're doing an Italian restaurant, I feel like it has to be.
Yeah, there was a cook there who would drink the line wine.
Oh, we had one of those. I'd go in the walk-in to grab more like beer to stock the beer cooler, and chefs in there doing one of those.
Yeah. If you mess up, he's pointing a knife at you.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'll whip you into shape real quick.
Yeah. So that I did a few other things in between, and I was kind of done with restaurants at the time, and did a few. I did like landscaping. I did retail, which I found out was not for me.
Dude, no restaurant people are retail people, and no retail people are restaurant people. They're polar opposites.
Yeah. So,
how long did it take you working in retail?
Well,
before you're just like,
I made it 3 years.
What?
So, yeah. So I got that.
Garrett was just audibly gasped. Yeah. From the other room.
So I got that customer service experience and realized I belong in the back of the house.
Your tolerance for stupidity wasn't very high.
Yeah. And not only that, it was, I think that period in my life was pretty rough because it was like working full time and not being able to pay my bills. It's just kind of like, paying bills, not enough money for like food, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like minimum wage, basically, and not enough.
Maybe not knowing the direction you wanted to go either. So it's like, what am I even, it's one thing to work and not be able to pay your bills, but you know that you're like working towards your dream.
Yeah.
But if you're just working and barely paying bills and you don't even know what you're working towards, that's like.
Yeah. At the time I was like more focusing on music and painting. I do art as well.
Sweet.
So like, it just like and art is really hard to break into.
Yeah.
Like extremely difficult.
I mean, it's an old trope of the broke artist,
for
a reason.
Exactly.
Know?
Yeah. And so it's like, you know what? I'm going to give kitchens another shot. And one thing I remembered from kitchen is you never go hungry because you're
that's very true.
There's always food around. You're always going to get fed.
So at the very least,
yeah. So went back in the kitchens, worked at Bloomington Foods for 4 years.
Okay.
Worked at a few of the different stores. So started at the east side, Bloomington Foods, cooking there. Believe it started as a dishwasher though.
Started from the bottom. Now we're here. You got to. I did a one dish shift at O'Charlie's.
Yeah,
that was that's tough.
Yeah,
like you think being around it and seeing it, but then you go work that one dish shift and you're just like you got a whole new perspective on it.
Yeah, it was interesting because they hired me as a cook, but then I think they hired multiple people at a time. And so they're like, well, we don't need this many cooks. You're going to do dishes.
The old bait and switch. Come on, B-Foods. You're better than that.
So I was like, I'm just happy to have a job,
Yeah.
So I did dishes. I think why they switched me over to cooking was I was just super fast at doing dishes. And I would keep my station like squeaky clean. People would bring dishes over and be like afraid to put the dish down.
Like I don't want to ruin it. It looks so nice.
Yeah. So they were like, all right, come cook.
Yeah. You're like, you're ruining up the flow here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
So did that for a while, opened up the Elm Heights store, which is in the Elm building.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I remember we were taking ice cream down there. It was so short-lived.
Yeah.
That B-Foods location there.
Yeah. So before they closed, I went and started working at IU and started as like a team lead there.
Just IU Dining?
Yeah, IU Dining. So they do food for like all the dorms and stuff like that.
McNutt, Gresham.
Yep. Started at Forest Quad.
Yeah.
And was pretty impressed with what they were doing actually.
Just the stairs. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, they had updated concepts. It wasn't like a cafeteria,
Right. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I did that for a while, and then moved buildings, and then I worked with a chef named Darren Worth. And he kind of, I kind of got that spark of like wanting to be a chef from him because I saw how serious he took it, the pride he put into everything. And so like working with him, like in the mornings, it was just me and him running the kitchen. We had a...
Is this at Forest?
This was at the Wells Library.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yep. With the Book Market Eatery, was it there? Yep. It was Book Market. Okay,
yeah,
because we had the chocolate mousse concept when it first was.
I remember that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because so what was the because there was a Nick's concept or Scholars Inn.
There was Scholars Inn.
Yeah,
and then there was a like sandwich one,
little coffee shop,
and then there was one called Traveler, which rotated daily the different cuisines.
Yeah.
So that was cool because we do like our multiple days of prep for like each
different
day.
Styles.
Yeah,
dude, I guarantee we ran into each other. Me running because I would take ice cream over there. Yeah. That's so funny.
But so we did that, and then he kind of encouraged me to take a chef job there. And before that, I had never taken cooking seriously. I was like, this is a job, and I never really knew that it could be a career. And so I was like, all right, I think I'll do this,
Yeah.
So got a sous chef job at Gresham. And that there's a guy named Ansel Drake there, and he kind of took me through these culinary classes to get like ACF culinary certifications. So I did that, and then at the time at Gresham, down in the basement, there was catering. So Dave Tallent was running catering at the time there.
He's still running it.
Yeah.
Did you get to work? So did you get to work with Dave?
Yeah, they would pull me downstairs to work all the time because Gresham was kind of like a slow building. So I had worked with Dave, and eventually we took over the Memorial Union, the food there.
Yeah, over Sodexo.
Yeah,
because we got in there with our first chocolate mousse concept with Sodexo.
Yeah,
and then IU Dining took over, and we're like, oh, I hope we get to stay in there. And we're lucky we did.
Yeah. So did some catering over there with him, and then moved back to Gresham, and then there was one point where Dave Tallent had like fallen off the dock and broken his arm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and he would do the dinners for the president of IU at the time.
Yeah.
And so they were like tasting menu style, and he broke his arm, and they called me up, and they were like, can you do these dinners?
Wow.
And I was like, I was like, me?
Yeah. You're looking around like, this guy?
Yeah. So like, I think they had more faith in me than I had in myself at the time. So I did that. And then, like I said, heard about the job at Story Inn.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Dude, well, that's so... it's such an interesting trajectory just to go. Like I went from IU dorm to Story Inn to now hands down one of the best, most high-end restaurants in town.
Yeah.
Like, and it seems like it happened fairly quickly.
Yeah. I mean, once I decided, I think it's been like a maybe 6-year span since I decided like, I want to be a chef,
Yeah.
And so like once I decided, it was just like full bore from there.
Yeah, it was game on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you're gonna do something, do it. Yeah. Go all in.
Yeah. And there was one point where I was just burnt out at Story, and so because it was like we had a very small team doing lots of. Doing 7-course tasting menus, like changing each
every week. Yeah, that's nuts.
And like didn't have enough help, and couldn't find help.
Especially, it's so hard in Brown County to find.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like burnt out, and I was like ready to go back to IU for a bit, and because my plan was, I'll go back to IU, do that for a minute, and then I was planning to open up like something of my own, even if it was like a sandwich shop or something. I just wanted to do my own thing, you know. But so I had to interview for that, and then got a call like from Dave Tallent, and he says, yeah, we're not going to hire you back. He's like, you're not done with restaurants. You have more to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah. He's like, you need to stick it out, you know? And I'm glad he did, because otherwise I probably wouldn't be doing this right now.
Dude, I'm legit getting like watery eyed, because that's like such a cool, like, well, because Dave Tallent, like just his name and his restaurant and what he's done in this town, like, is incredible. I remember eating at Restaurant Talent. Yeah. Just other people have gone, like, it just over time has held up like, man, we need another place like Talent. Like, why don't we have another place like Talent? And that very well could be Elm. But the fact that you got to learn under him, which I was going to ask, kind of what were some of the things he taught you? And then you just dropped that bomb on me. Yeah. Where that just, it's so cool. It's just so cool to see, especially in our society of just like, yo, if they can help me, I'm going to take, like, just someone that they're just looking out for you. Yeah. They're not like, yeah, he easily could have been like, oh yeah, let's get this super talented dude that's going to make my life easier. Yeah. But like, he's selflessly said like, nah, dude, like, trust me. Yeah. I don't know. That's so freaking cool, man. That's such a gnarly story. Yeah. And then, so how long after that was it that you ended up hearing about the Elm position?
I think it was another probably 9 months or so. Yeah. I was like sticking it out, like doing, just grinding, you know.
Man.
And then, yeah, my friend Phil, who I worked with at IU, he told me about this, and he's like, reach out to Eric. And so I did. And then several interviews later,
I'm sure it had to be a process.
Yeah, it was like 3 or 4 interviews, I think. And they just wanted to make sure they had the right person.
Of course. They sunk a ton of money into that restaurant.
They had already interviewed tons of people before, all around from Chicago.
Just didn't feel like they had found the right fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious when you go in there. I'm not spoiling any secrets. They put a lot of money into that building. Yeah. Into the design, into how they're doing things. Eric is one of the most impressive people I've ever come in contact with. He's so polished and sharp and just on his shit. Yeah. Like, in the best, like, that it's just like, I'm like, damn, like, I wish I could be like, that well-rounded, you know? And so it's like, he's such a perfect GM for that place.
Absolutely.
In terms of what they're trying to present, what they're trying to execute, what you're trying to do as a whole.
Yeah.
And then Leah is just so good on the beverage side and the cocktail side.
Absolutely.
Which, as a chef, I know it's kind of a cheesy question, but how important is that to have a beverage program that matches the food?
Really important, because like if you have like a lopsided restaurant, then they're going to be like, yeah, don't go there for the drinks, or don't go there for the food, or don't get the desserts. Like, everything has to be on the same level.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's service, drinks, food, any of that.
So I know, like, you guys make, a lot of your own bar serps and all that. Do you work with Leah or anyone else very closely about like what the cocktail menu looks like versus what the food menu looks like as far as being complementary?
Yeah, we do that a little bit. We're looking to do that even more, where hopefully I'll be able to plan out like even further in advance the menus. But we're sometimes like, oh, we're going to be using this if you want to use this. And then sometimes they'll have me come out and like taste things and be like, what do you think that is? And I'll come up with like some oddball ingredient and that they, as like bartenders, probably wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah. fresh lens, different perspective from the chefs.
We really work together well like that.
Yeah, that's well, I've had cocktails there before, and then more recently you guys have a great mocktail menu as well.
Yeah.
Where you don't feel like you're missing out.
Yeah.
You still feel included. Including your bill. Your bill's going to cost as much as if you do, but it's like it's worth it because it's these high quality house-made ingredients. Season 5 of the No Dishes podcast is brought to you by visitbloomington.com. VisitBloomington.com is the best resource for restaurant and culinary information, special events, fun activities, places to stay, and more in our area. We share a similar mission here on the No Dishes podcast of highlighting local businesses and the people who make our community unique. We can't thank them enough for hopping on board. Check them out at visitbloomington.com to easily plan your next meal, visit, or night out on the town. Do you do much with the baking coffee side of things at all?
Yeah. So at the beginning we had a pastry chef. He's moved to Chicago at this point. So I'm the pastry chef now.
That's such a good delivery. So I'm also, I should have introduced you as exec and pastry chef.
So I have input on that right now.
I love that dark chocolate pistachio scone.
Oh yeah.
I want some money.
Yeah. Well, and the cool thing about our team is like if they have an idea, I'll be like, all right, bring it to me. Like, let me taste it. Like if it's money, then we're going with it.
And if it's terrible, you never get to bring an idea to me again. Yeah. Garrett's got some images of just the interior of Elm, and it's just such a beautiful, beautiful space.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of people sitting on that patio?
Yeah. So, it's only open like a short amount of time,
right.
Like during the favorable months. But
cause it's either, you only get a select where it's not too hot. It's not too cold.
Yep.
It's like, and it's not, or it's like, oh, it's beautiful out, but it's super windy. Oh, nice. That's a great picture of Eric. Bottom left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in the mornings when the weather's nice, we'll open up the patio for coffee service and stuff like that.
Well, I pop by all the time because obviously I got 2 sticks right there, and then you guys right around the corner. So I'm and then Hopscotch isn't far either. So it's or Rainbow Bakery. I got some options is what I'm saying. Chocolate Mousse is very well placed to get my baked good fix.
Yeah,
but it's I feel like a lot of people do, even though you are busy when I go by, because I always go to the window, even if it's cold.
Right.
I just go to the window.
Yeah.
There's something I don't want to go inside.
Yeah.
But there's always people in there working, reading. But I still feel like there's still a large percentage of the population that thinks they think expensive fine dining.
Yeah.
It's worth it, but they're not thinking, coffee shop and baked goods.
Right.
So I'm glad we get to remind people that you guys are doing that. Do you know, what is it, 7 a.m. you guys open up?
We open at 7:30 every day.
Yeah.
And then, open till
I think that's Tuesday
1:30.
through Friday.
Yep, Tuesday through Friday.
Yeah, no, the Saturday got me once. That's why I do.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, shit, it's like, but they're open tonight.
Yeah.
Do you get a chance to go out to eat very much?
Not too much.
Yeah.
But, so I do. 4th Street is like my go-to.
Okay.
I usually Korea restaurant, dough, that kind of thing. So
dough's nice because they're open late.
Yeah.
Like where you like, oh man, it's after 11 or 10.
Yeah.
I can't get any like scratch made or like, you know what I mean? Like my only options are fast food.
Yeah.
And then I remember dough. I'm like, oh yes.
Yeah.
It's just like, I always forget and then I'll remember and I get so excited that I don't have to have Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I like Taco Bell here and there, but you know what I mean?
But usually my days off, I'll make the trek to Indy and eat at restaurants there. I love Garage Food Hall.
I haven't been yet, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's lots of good places. There's like a noodle place. There's arepas. There's
Have you had a arepa burger?
Roll. What's that?
Have you had a Rape a Burger, the food truck in town?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're money.
It's fire.
Marcus and Nicole, they're sweet too, but they make some good food. I took my my buddy to Milktooth. He had never been.
Oh yeah.
That
That's
place,
one of my favorite spots. Yeah.
Which is what they do. I see a lot of similarities as far as presentation and execution from Elm and Milktooth.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, again, you're making the bread, you're making the crackers. It's it's like nothing's being bought in.
Yeah.
Anywhere else in town besides Korea and Dew or Dough? The Dough?
Yeah.
I would say Dew. I think it's Dew.
One of my favorite spots that is closed now is Bloomington.
Yeah. So you know that they have a food truck that's operational.
Oh, they do.
Yeah. So that's Joy and Peanut.
Yeah.
So this is my specialty, food trucks. Let me fill you in real quick. So it's Little Bull Thai.
Okay.
They'll be at the first Food Truck Friday, April 5th. Just let me know. I'll do a trade.
Yeah.
I'll bring you Little Bull for. I might have to throw some cash on my end.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I had the best curry I've ever had from that food truck, which I'm sure was the same recipe they used at Bloomington.
Yeah.
But they were doing like a curry during Freeze Fest over at Dimension Mill.
Yeah.
And dude, it was everything. It was everything I ever wanted flavor wise.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a chance to go to Restaurant Talent when it was open?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
We used to deliver ice like on the side alley. There was this little like door. It made you feel like you were in New York or Chicago because it was very just like janky.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a real door. It was just like a piece of plywood almost.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh yeah, we'll just throw the ice in here. And
yeah.
We'd run 8 bags to Restaurant Talent and I'm covered in hot fudge and inside everything's so nice in there. And I'm just like, here you go, guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get back to the ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you remember, but some of his cooks had a side hustle called Happy Pig, and they would post it up outside the Atlas.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Was Nardi one of those that did Happy Pig? I think he was. Maybe I'm wrong, but did you ever have the tamale cart food truck?
Oh yeah.
Those guys, they were doing that. Like again, every menu was different, 3 new things, but it's all, they're pickling their own stuff. They're like doing these cool variations on things. We have amazing food trucks and we're very fortunate to have them, but there you go. Happy Pig Brunch. Gary, you are on it, man. You're killing this. This is the second episode that we've ever had this like monitor, which might be terrible content. Let us know in the comments that we just constantly are like just talking about something no one else can see. Oh yeah.
The Notorious PIG. That was my favorite.
Yeah, that was
because they would do brunch inside the Atlas and
they pop the truck
drinks inside. Yeah, they would have like specialty brunch drinks.
Yeah,
that were so good.
Did you ever have Gimme Some Mo? The burrito food cart?
I don't think so.
Oh, dude, so his secret, he lives in Texas now and he doesn't do a food cart. But his secret, he told me, was he would just buy Sam's Club rotisserie chickens. But then he just used that. But then the sauces he added. And then like when he grilled the burrito, he would just slather it in butter. And it was just like, it just got such a good crisp on it and it had such great flavor. One of the things I don't want to forget to ask that I was thinking about earlier, what did you learn from Chef Talent?
I would say just like developing flavor was like the main thing I saw. 'Cause he had an interesting way of teaching. So it wasn't like he would flat out tell you do this and then this and then this. You had to pay attention. You had to watch. If you weren't watching, you were going to miss something, So I think that was my main thing, was keep your eyes open, watch, just soak everything in and try to keep up.
Yeah. All right. I actually love that because I wish everyone learned that way because that's how I want to be. It's just watch what I'm doing and pick up on the nuances.
Yeah.
Because then it's because you got to slow down to teach. Yeah. And then you get out of your normal rhythm where it's much easier to just be okay, let me just do my thing and hopefully you learn something by watching. Yeah. But Chef Talent, I feel like that's not to compare me doing ice cream the way he does. But I feel like that's just a really cool opportunity. So I wanted to ask. So you just learned like how to develop flavors and the process it takes to get there.
Yeah. And like basically doing everything like from beginning to end, just like no shortcuts.
Yeah.
And that's how we do it at the Elm. We never take shortcuts. Just do everything completely from scratch.
Yeah, it's so nuts. Just so labor intensive.
Yeah.
So next time you maybe see a menu item price and scoff at it a little bit, think about how much labor, and labor is not cheap. You want people to be paid fair wages. Yeah. So that's what you're paying for. And then you're also going to pay for really good flavors and execution too.
And the combined knowledge of everyone on the team,
all that experience. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. But our next steps are, I don't know if I can talk about it too much, but
we're all about those No Dishes exclusives, bro. Come on.
Yeah, we've got a project going where we're going to start making even more of our ingredients. So think about like vinegars, soy sauces, other ingredients that normally you just buy.
Yeah.
We're going to be able, because our kitchen, it's like decent size, but too small to do these projects.
Yeah. Have a lot of different programs going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing ferments. We're going to be inoculating koji to like develop like soy sauces, like deep umami flavors.
Oh my God, dude.
So it's just gonna change our entire kind of program and just make it even more valuable.
Dude, that's so exciting. Yeah. Do you guys have a garden on the roof right now?
Not yet.
Okay, sorry. Am I giving anything away? I thought I had heard. Wait, did I just give something away?
No.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah. The way you're spot, I'm like, oh shit, I wasn't supposed to say that. Okay, I swore at some point there was like, yeah, we got a garden on the roof, but maybe that was like, oh, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's something we talked about at the beginning. I never got to it, and I don't know, like legality of it.
Oh, okay. So. There is no or never will be. My bad.
But we are looking at growing some of our own produce.
Yeah.
At a different location. So
sweet. Yeah. Having your own any like dry aging meat programs.
We do that a little bit.
Oh, already. Okay.
Already.
Yeah.
But we're gonna expand that. So we started out dry aging steaks. We do that with not as long, but we do it with our pork. We work with Fisher Farms to we brine and dry and all this stuff just to deepen that flavor.
Didn't you have a dish that was like pork 3 ways?
Most likely. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was the one, I'm trying to remember the 3 different types, but it was like, oh man, this pork's delicious. Oh, this pork is delicious. Oh, this like, just like the different preparations and flavor profiles of all of them was like really cool, all on the same plate.
Yeah. And we did a steak like that where we took, in a ribeye, there are like 3 muscle groups, and we broke them down into each muscle group and prepared each one a different way to highlight like how, if you prepare this section one way, it brings out like the best of it.
Yeah.
So we're always like doing crazy stuff like that.
But I mean, as a chef, that's got to be like what you want. You get to have that freedom and that free reign to just be like, let's play around. Like, but it's more than playing around. It's like with a serious end goal.
Yeah. And that's something I love about working there is like when I first started working there, I passed everything by the owners. And I think after 1 or 2 menus, they were like, all right, you got this.
You've earned it. Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
So I have like complete autonomy over the menu.
That's all you can ever ask for, man. Outside of having your own place and restaurant.
Yeah.
But like even then, to do some of the stuff you're doing, even if you got your own restaurant, you might not be able to afford to do some of those things or programs. So you might even have more freedom now than if you had your own place.
I'd say so. Yeah.
One of my other favorite things is the honey butter.
Oh yeah.
And then you guys do it in the shape of the honeycomb.
Yeah.
Is that like a mold that you bought or
yeah?
You made
yeah, we got molds, and then we make compound butter basically. And while it's soft, we kind of set it in the molds, and then at that point refrigerate it so it solidifies again. But yeah,
it's so good, man. Yeah. And then what was the one other one I wanted to mention? Oh, the corn ice cream.
Oh yeah,
that was money. That was really good. Not the best ice cream I've ever had. I mean,
right?
No, it was so good.
I mean, you got to rep the brand.
No, yeah. It's okay. It's good. No, it was so delicious. I'm trying to remember the exact preparation, but it was a sweet corn ice cream. But then it had, what else was served with it?
I think what was it? Patiju, like puffs, and then
it was corn puffs. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah.
And then what was that? Like corn nuts. Like we did like candied corn nuts. Yeah. Something else on there.
Just
like,
out there.
Just all corn dessert.
Yeah, just getting weird, but it works and it's so good.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere else in town that you enjoyed that we hadn't had a chance to show some love to yet?
I've eaten at Feast once, I think, for brunch.
Yeah.
I've only been there for brunch.
The brunch is...
Because I am never able to get out like during dinner time, you know?
No, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, that's
so.
always the tough part when I have people like yourself on here.
Yeah.
Where they're like, I want to go out to eat more, but like, I just can't, you know? Their brunch is a great time to go though.
Yeah.
It's so good. I had their coffee cake.
Yeah.
And when I see sour cream coffee cake.
Yeah.
And I've been fooled before. I get excited when I see that. But then I have it. And I'm like, oh, this is good. It might be the best coffee cake I've ever had. Yeah. Have you ever done a coffee cake?
No, but I've wanted to because coffee cake's like one of my favorite things.
Hopefully me saying that's the best coffee cake I've ever had was at Feast. Maybe that'll light that fire. You're like, oh, you think that's good? No, you're like, I'll show you a good coffee cake. No, it was just like so the mouthfeel of it.
Yeah.
It was just so fulfilling.
Right.
And just like what you want from a moist with a little bit of the crunch from like whatever nut is on there.
Yeah.
Shows how much I pay attention to the actual ingredients. Well, dude, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on. What you guys do is so incredible. I hope I've been able to at least showcase through you, obviously, just what you guys are doing, how much hard work you're putting in. Congratulations on all your success.
Yeah.
You're obviously a super humble dude, but like you're doing it the right way. And that's just, Bloomington's lucky to have you. Bloomington's lucky to have the I wish you guys nothing but success. And just thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah, cool. Appreciate it, buddy.
Awesome. Thanks.
What another great episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. Also, thanks to our Season 6 presenting sponsor, Visit Bloomington. Check them out at visitbloomington.com. We'll see you soon. In the meantime, keep those hands dry. This episode of the No Dishes Podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Garrett Portinga of Green Hat Media in beautiful downtown Bloomington, Indiana.
No dishes.
No Dishes Media.
No Dishes Media.